Hey, so in this one, I want to show you how to eliminate human error in your agency with automated checklists. Now, do stick to the end of this video because I'm going to show you how we've actually integrated this system into our own dashboard and our own client's dashboard. So definitely watch until the end because I promise you this system is very unique and it's been very, very effective at helping not just me and my team, but also, as I said, my agency clients' teams as well. But yeah, look, I don't want to keep this too long. I'll get straight into it. So checklists are obviously a very simple, easy way to make sure you eliminate mistakes before they happen, right? And you might have some checklists in your business already, but the problem with basically just the normal way of doing checklists and where most agencies go wrong, or really the reason why they don't get used, is because one, they take up too much time to create them, right? Most agencies, maybe if you're watching this, you create like SOPs and checklists for your team that are very, very long. Not just in terms of reading them, but they take you days, sometimes weeks, sometimes even months to create like a big long checklist or a document you have to sit there and write out every single step. But it's also the problem that they're rarely ever actually accurate or up to date as well. So what I mean is when you go to create a checklist on a process in your business, right, you're thinking about step 1, step 2, step 3, and you're typing them out. But the problem is when the team go to follow the checklist, it might not be accurate because when you're typing the checklist out, you might not be able to think of every single thing that needs to be done, every possible scenario that could happen. So what you usually find is if you try and type out every process yourself, you might get it like 80% or 90% correct. But what happens is you then give that to your team and they just come back to you saying it's not accurate. What do I do on this step? What do I do on this step, for example? And then you have to go back and it just wastes more time, right? So they're rarely accurate. And what we want is to have like 100% accurate checklists so your team can just go through them and get things done correctly the first time round, right? There's no going back around to try and fix it again. So the last thing is that, the team just doesn't follow them consistently, right? And this is also a problem because you don't have your checklist integrated into your business. They are sat in a Google Doc or a Word doc, and they're just sat where they're sat somewhere where the team just don't find them and don't use them, right? So the thing is, if you have a team of 5 or more employees, every small mistake adds up, right? So missteps, unclear handoffs, inconsistent delivery really starts to just slow everything down and can even frustrate clients, right? If small mistakes are happening, it's obviously not good. And in general, it just looks unprofessional, right? You don't really want to have any mistakes in your whole process from start to finish, whether that's within your acquisition process. I've had clients in the past where they've accidentally, one of the team has sent like a proposal by mistake, right? This is before we worked with them, which cost them a deal, right? But then also past that, once you've got the client onboarded and getting the project set up and working on the projects, right? If there's any mistakes, then it obviously has a negative impact on your business. So what I'm going to do is to give you the quick fix how you can do it now. But as I said, do keep watching because I'm going to show you the actual system that really hits on all these points here and how you can actually integrate it into your business so that your team start, as I said, actually using these checklists, right? Because there's kind of 2 ways you can do it. There's a more simple way, which definitely works, but there's also a slightly more advanced way, which I'm going to show you, which I highly, highly recommend. So the first thing I recommend is to record a Loom so your process is clear and accurate. So just like I'm doing here, I'm recording a Loom. Now, the reason why I underlined accurate here is because that's the first thing that we want to tick off, and it's the main reason why I use Loom to record processes rather than type them out, right? Because as I said before, I could sit there and type out a checklist or type out an SOP. And if you're watching this and you don't know what an SOP is, it's basically a written set of instructions, right? On how to do a procedure, okay? And as I said, you can type them out yourself, but the problem is that you cannot simply think of every single possible outcome that might show up during the process, right? So it's better to actually document yourself doing the process in real time so you can go through the steps exactly how you would do it, and that way you can spot any and every single outcome that can happen while the process is being played out. So what I want you to do is to pick a process in your business. It could be the onboarding, it could be updating a client, it could be sending a report, whatever it is, okay? You can record yourself showing your team exactly how to do it. And Loom is such a great tool because obviously you can record your screen, you can speak through the video. So that way it kind of does 2 things. Your team get a video rather than a document, right? Which is very, much easier to obviously watch. But also it's way more accurate, as I said. And it's just so much more easier, okay? So that's the first thing you want to do, right, is record a Loom of the process so that it's super clear. And I said, you're showing your team exactly how to do it. The second thing is to then use ChatGPT to turn the transcript from the Loom into a checklist to save time. So again, we're kind of reversing the process here. So rather than you typing it all out, which again, for an SOP could take weeks, sometimes even months to actually create, right, which is just not ideal if you're a business owner. You could just save a ton of time, because what you can do is record a quick video like this, and then you can basically put it into ChatGPT and it will create the actual SOP for you, right? Or the checklist for you. So to show you what I mean, we have this SOP generator. We actually created this. This is on ChatGPT. It's like a custom bot. And just to show you how it works, is we basically will record a Loom, then we paste that into here, the transcript, from the Loom, and I'll show you how it works in a second, and that basically creates the SOP checklist for us, okay? And then we can then copy that and store it into our basically project management system, okay? So just to show you here, I've got an example video that I created, right? This is what I created for my team on how to set up better proposals, which is a tool that we use for our clients, right? So this is part of our delivery process. So rather than me typing out how to do it, which would have took me literally days, I just recorded a quick video, 9-minute video, 5 minutes in total when sped up, showing my team exactly how to do it, right? But now what I'm going to do is, now I've created this Loom, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it into here, right? And then I'm going to paste it. And now what that's going to do is that's now creating the SOP for me, right? Which is pretty cool, right? So it's gone from me writing a document, which would have took me days, if not weeks and months, to recording a quick 9-minute video, and then this giving me a super accurate document that I can now store somewhere for my team to use, okay? Now what you can do, just to give you a quick tip on this, what you can go further with this, just to show you how you can even make this even better, is once this creates, this is actually creating the SOP, which is kind of a checklist, and it is, you can use it as a checklist, but it's not like a proper checklist where it's something you would tick off. This is more like how to do it. The checklist is more of like the overarching things that need to get done. So what I would, once this is done, what I would say is now, turn this into a high-level checklist for my team. Just one list. Don't break it down into like subheadings and stuff like that. I just want a list. I'm just going to show you how you could do this. And now this is creating, as I said, the checklist, which is there. Now we need to log into Better Proposals, we need to go to settings, we need to enter this, we need to do this. So again, you can do this for any process in your business, right? It's really, really cool. And now you can store that, okay? You can even tell it to make it even more concise, right? Because it's given me obviously quite quite a lot of steps here, which I probably don't want. You want to boil it down for a checklist to like 10 steps. But anyway, now we've done that, we've been able to record a Loom so it's accurate. We've used ChatGPT and Loom to save us time, right? So it's only taken us a couple of minutes to record a Loom. It's super accurate because it's shown exactly how we would do it, right? Just like I showed you there. And then we're using ChatGPT to create the actual SOP and the checklist for us. Now, that's kind of the more basic version, which by all means will help you a lot, whether it's for you as a business owner, or you can get your team to do this as well. So as I said, if you have a big team, you can also get like the account managers, the higher ups that also do this, and to basically easily delegate to the rest of the team as well. And it also helps if you've got any new hires that come on board, because you don't have to train them. You can just give them the Loom and give them the SOP, and they know exactly how to do a process, right? So there's almost like zero training required in your business. But now onto the third point, why the team doesn't really follow them, and that's because they usually just sit in a Google Drive or a Microsoft folder somewhere, and they never get looked at again. So what I really recommend is storing them in your project management system so your team actually uses it. So when I say that, you probably are using a project management system like an Asana or a ClickUp or a Trello, whatever it is. You can essentially do that process that I just showed you there, and you can store these checklists, store these SOPs into your system, right? But what I'm going to show you here is how we've basically automated this entire process for our clients by installing it directly into their project management system, so that the whole thing is just integrated and their team actually use it. So I just want to show you this here, which is, just so you can see, this is Airtable, okay? And the reason why we use Airtable, this is my own Airtable, but we set this exact dashboard up for our clients. We completely customize it for them. So we just streamline and systemize their entire business. Is all under one roof, from their client onboarding to their projects, to their team, their meetings, their SOPs, and the team get added to this as well. So it's like an internal dashboard that's going to streamline your whole team. But basically, I want to show you this because I've not seen anyone else do this, and I think this is so cool, which is, you can see here, right, we have the SOP section. So what I would do is I would still follow that process where I record a Loom, I put the transcript into ChatGPT, and then that creates the SOP, right? And then I can copy that, so this SOP here, and I will put it into here. So you can see there was setting up the client accounts. I actually do it in here. So I put in the title, which ChatGPT gives me. I will choose, this is just the system. What is it for? Better proposals. I put the link to the Loom. So the Loom that I recorded, I put in there. And then I copy that SOP into here. And now that SOP is in here, and I can create that. And what that's going to do is it's going to store it now in my SOP library, right? And I can see it here. Now, the part I want to show you, which is why this is so cool, is what I want to do is now to create accurate checklists that can go into my dashboard and I can give to my team, right? Because the SOP is more of a guide. I said I want to create a checklist that they can actually tick off. So here I have templates, and what these are basically checklist templates that we can create, or you could create for your team as well. So we get a new template like this. We can name it what it is. So how to create, I'll call it how to create a checklist like this, right? For example, I'll just select anything for now. I'll put it as that. And we have this little thing here. Do we want to use AI to create the checklist from the existing SOPs in our system? I click yes. It now says what SOPs would I like to use, right? So for now, I'm just going to use this one, how to create and store SOPs in Airtable. But as you can see, I have all my other SOPs in here that I have. So for you, as I said, you can create all your SOPs, document in your system, right? Doing it this way by recording Looms. Maybe you already have some documents that you want to put in here as well. But as I said, I'm going to show you that. And then when I go and create template, what it's going to do now is created it here, and I can click on this. And now what's going to happen is that AI in Airtable has now created the checklist for me. And now that is a saved templated checklist on how to do this process that my team can now start ticking off, okay, which is really, really cool. And it's super accurate because it's going off of the SOP as well, okay? Now, if I wanted to update this checklist, let's say I wanted to review it and update it, right? Because as we said in the document, processes can, they might not be up to date. Well, let's say we update a process by adding in a new SOP. I again can do that, and I can add in the new SOP underneath. So let's say it's, let's say this one here, right? And now I can click update template. You've got to give it a few seconds sometimes. Yes, you've got to give it a few seconds. We can click update template, yes, continue. And now what's going to happen is the AI has run again, and it's created that checklist, but it's added the new SOP underneath it, right? So now we have two. So you can almost combine SOPs as well. Now, that stored them in our project management system. This is where they're kind of organized, right? So if I was to get rid of that again, like that, and then just update the template again, it's going to go back to the original, right? So we have this checklist now saved on exactly how to do this process. What is also very cool is that we have our projects in here as well, because this is our project management system as well. And just to show you an example project here, you can see it's all here. I can basically, again, link my SOPs to the project itself. So let's say your team are working on a, I don't know, web design, or maybe it's like video editing, or maybe it's a campaign setup, right? We have a web design project for this client, let's say. The team are all assigned in here. They have the due date, the priorities, all this stuff. And then we want to link our relevant SOPs to complete in this project, right? So I can link the SOPs directly to the project itself, right? Like this here. And this now means that the team have basically two things. They have an SOP linked to the project, so they can see and actually click on this exactly how to get it done, because when we click here it pops up on the right, and we can see the full SOP here with the Loom as well. So again, like, they never get lost, they know exactly what to do, right? But also, as I said, just going back to here, because we have AI built in here now, we have these two SOPs connected. I can go to this button here and go create AI subtasks. I click yes, continue. And now instantly that has created the full checklist on how to create this, which means now my team can just start going through and ticking this off, the progress updates here, the percentage bar. And now they're getting a fully accurate SOP that's taken me, all I've had to do is record a quick loop, right? Which is kind of crazy, and store it in my system. And now I have a fully accurate SOP on how to complete this process. I can link the SOPs to the project itself, so my team can watch the Loom and read these processes here to check if they're getting it right or not. And I have an actual checklist as well. So this works as now a step-by-step list that the team can go through, and it means that we're making sure every relevant step gets done, and we only continue or we only update the client when all of this is done here. So maybe this full section here is now done. Now we can update the client and say, look, we've done this step, right? And we know it's correct because everything's been done. We've ticked off every single step. So this is such a good way of doing things if you're a service-based business, right? Where you have team, you have different services, and you need to deliver projects. You need to just execute throughout your entire business without any errors, right? To make things go so much more smooth and so much more, so much more easy. So as I said, I'll end the video here. I didn't want it to be too long, but I just wanted to show you that how you can do it in a more simple way using Loom and ChatGPT, right? And then you can store it in your system, whether that be Google Docs or Excel spreadsheets or Trello or Asana, ClickUp, whatever you want to use. But I also wanted to show you how we do it for clients, because as I said, we have now set up this really advanced dashboard, which we set up fully done for you, by the way. As I said, we customize it to your agency for months on end as well, so that it's very tailored to your business, your service, your team. And then, as I said, we set up automations to make you and your team's life so much more easy within here as well. So all your team really have to do is, once the client onboards, which is fully automated as well, when we what we set up for clients, the project gets set up like this, and the team just start ticking off the work, and you as the business owner don't have to stress as well about this is what's getting done. So look, I'll end the video here. I wanted to say that if you do want help installing more streamlined systems into your agency just like this one, let's have a chat and see how we can help. Because as I said, if you don't know me, I obviously own Click Systems. We help our clients who are mostly agencies, but we do work with all kind of online businesses as well, mostly service-based businesses. We can really just help you streamline and systemize all these different areas in your business so that there are less errors. You can be more efficient as a team, and you can just grow so much more, smoothly and without the kind of chaos of all your operations breaking and spending so much time working in the business. So thank you very much for listening, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.